actually broke like yesterday, okay? It says President Trump tells White House staff to ignore any mentions of packing for departure. In other words, Trump is telling his White House staff, stop making any plans to leave the White House. Now, this was reported, actually tweeted by the New York Times. It says, on Tuesday, White House officials sent an email to staff members about departure procedures before a new administration begins January 20. And then the very next day, on Wednesday, a new email says this: please disregard the below message. Updated information will be shared in the coming days. Can you imagine that? Just a day after they had been given an email or sent an email to start making plans to leave the White House, Trump tells them disregard that message because there is not going to be any leaving the White House. Now, that's what I call a bombshell.
From the look of things and the events of the last few days, it pretty much is beginning to look like we're going to get that second chance. I can't put a bet on it, but it pretty much looks like it right now. And for that, I'm going to read you a few things. And I want you to please, I beg of you, I'm not forcing you, I'm actually pleading with you to pay attention to some of the details I want to share with you right now. These are things that have unfolded just in the last few days, when everyone already thinks that all hope is lost, nothing is ever going to happen, it's going to be a Biden presidency. All these are happening now. Let's break it down and see if we can connect a few dots. All right, so we start with this one. The caption here, which I've actually featured in my last video, many of you know this one, right? I announced it earlier. So it says, Washington, the U.S. Acting Defense Secretary has canceled planned meetings between Defense Department officials and the Biden transition team. You heard this from me already, right? Now, it's a move the department is categorizing as a temporary delay rather than a wholesale blockade of the incoming administration. But a spokesman for the Biden team said the transition officials are concerned about an abrupt halt to the already limited cooperation in the Department of Defense, and he accused the Pentagon of issuing a false statement about an agreed upon pause in work. Already limited cooperation. From the Biden camp, they are saying or alleging that so far, even before this halt or this pause in transmission of details to the Biden transition team by the Defense Department, that there was already a limited cooperation, meaning that the Defense Department had not even been cooperating with them fully from the get-go. And now they are even accusing the Defense Department of telling a lie when they said that they had entered into an agreement with the Biden transition team on a pause, meaning they entered into agreement to stop the briefings before the Defense Department went to town with the news. The Biden team is saying no, they didn't agree on anything. Now, going further, it says, the halt comes days after a major hack of government agencies, including the Pentagon, has left the department scrambling to understand the potential damage, much of which will be dealt with by the incoming administration. Remember the hack that affected almost every department in the U.S. Defense Department and everywhere. Different agencies of government were affected. A hack, that is a huge deal, massive big deal, right? And so the Defense Department is already refusing to cooperate because they don't know who is coming from the other side. They don't know who is making them vulnerable or who is going to make them very vulnerable and make the matters worse. And that's why they are being cautious at this time. But the Biden team is crying wolf already. And here's why they're crying wolf. They do have a good reason to cry wolf, right? Listen, when they say that they did not agree with the Defense Department on a pause, okay, that there was no, they are referring to this statement that was released by the Defense Department to the effect of that pause. And the statement says, and I quote, after the mutually agreed upon holiday pause, which begins tomorrow, we will continue with the transition and reschedule meetings from today. The statement added, "Again, I remain committed to a full and transparent transition. This is what our nation expects, and the DoD will deliver as it always has." However, at a Friday briefing, Biden transition spokespeople Johannes Abraham and Jen Psaki denied there was an agreed upon holiday pause and called for the Pentagon to immediately restart the discussions. So what this is saying is that as at this moment that there is a pause, and the Pentagon is saying this pause we're having now, the pause in briefing anybody from the Biden transition team, that it was an agreement between us and the Biden transition team. And the Biden transition is actually saying openly to the whole world that no, we didn't agree with them to have a pause, but the DoD is still maintaining the pause. So going further, Abraham, that is the Biden campaign representative, Abraham added that political appointees at the department have been particularly recalcitrant in sharing information when compared to other government agencies, and that the abrupt halt to the already limited cooperation needed to be reversed immediately, particularly in the aftermath of the SolarWinds hack that is believed to have exposed America's national security agencies for months. So here you have a very clear accusation, and these accusations are very strong, saying that political appointees at the Department of Defense have been recalcitrant and that they are not cooperating with the Biden transition team. And even though they were not really giving them any full cooperation, they have now altogether stopped the briefing completely. And here's the next line here. It says, Pentagon observers have been carefully watching the transition process at the department following a wave of firings of top officials, including Defense Secretary Mark Esper. That was followed by a group of Trump loyalists installed in the department. Did you watch one of my last videos? Did I tell you this when it happened? I broke it down one by one, telling you how that after firing Mark Esper, Trump had to delete a lot of never-Trumpers and America-hating officials at the Defense Department, replacing them with what you would call Trump loyalists, but basically people who are very, very much in love with their country, America, people who you can actually call patriots, who don't hate America like the other ones who think that they hate Trump, but they're actually hating on America. When you see the stimulus bill that has been presented to Trump by these people, you can tell that this is not something done against the President of the United States of America. It is something done against the United States of America itself. This is a battle for the soul of America. That's what is going on today in the United States of America. It is not politics as usual. So Trump replaced all these people with patriots who love America and love their president, who is actually a promoter and a lover and a supporter of the U.S. Constitution, not the ones who want to burn it down and destroy it. If we truly have the right people there at the Defense Department, like these reports are beginning to allege, honestly, you are going to see a surprise on January 20. Except if we have backstabbers who are pretending to be true Trump loyalists, just like A.G. Barr, Mitch McConnell. All of them at one time or the other acted like they loved Donald Trump and they were on his side. And that's why I'm a bit wary of whatever is happening at the Defense Department. What if these guys are putting up a show like all these betrayers have done over the years, making everybody believe that they were for Trump, like Fox News and the rest of them. You see, this is a battle. This is like a Pearl Harbor. So anybody can betray, anybody can do anything. I don't even trust any single human being around Trump right now. I'm telling you. But let's just say that this is true, what is happening, because I'm seeing a meltdown from the media, but I'm not moved by it, because they were melting down over Barr. But I can bet you today that they knew that Barr was on their side. Whenever Barr defended Trump, they will come out and say, can you imagine, fire him now, fire him now. But they knew that he was on their side all along. They knew he had a job to do. So they kept giving that impression that they were against Barr, until Barr just delivered and they all kept quiet. So this might also be a show, we don't know, but the truth of the matter is that we trust in God that the so-called loyalists, Trump loyalists at the Defense Department, whom he put there, the so-called patriots, that they will actually remain patriots and fight for this country and save it from the hands of the wicked globalists. Otherwise, it's just going to be end of story. Okay? And so how I was touched by this, thinking that this might actually be real, was when I saw CNN meltdown over this. I was trying to read meaning into that meltdown to see if it's the usual meltdown, deceptive meltdown they have, but this one kind of looked real because they're really melting down over the fact that the Defense Department is not cooperating with the Biden transition team. In fact, Biden himself, you know, it's almost like it's getting to him now. So he even issued a statement recently through one of his aides. And when he issued that statement, a defense official source now quoted one of the top officials at the Defense Department saying that Biden's submission is patently false. That's huge. That's huge. So there's an escalation going on right now between the Biden team and the Defense Department. CNN was almost crying. I was watching one of the journalists almost crying, like you could feel the pain in the tone of her voice where she was saying, can you imagine? They are actually calling the president-elect a liar? They called him a liar? How dare you call a God liar? You know, so let me read you something from CNN to this effect. It says, President-elect Joe Biden's transition team on Wednesday disputed suggestions from Pentagon officials who questioned the accuracy of Biden's assertion a day earlier that the Department of Defense has refused to brief his team on the massive cyber attack on government agencies and major American technology and accounting companies. As the president-elect noted yesterday, the Department of Defense has continued to refuse to meet with our agency review team members, said Ned Price, a spokesman for the Biden transition, said in a statement to CNN. There has been no substantial progress since transition officials spoke to the intransigence of the department's political leadership late last week, Price said. As we said then, no department is more pivotal to our national security than the Department of Defense, and an unwillingness to work together could have consequences well beyond January 20. An unnamed Pentagon official denied the allegation in a statement, saying Biden's claim the Defense Department wouldn't brief his team was patently false. Do you see the war of words now that is existing between the Biden transition team and the Defense Department? They understand that a lack of cooperation from the Defense Department could have consequences that would well go beyond January 20. They do understand that very well. They know what it means. If every other agency of government has caved down to the globalists, if every other agency of government is now asking or answering to all these global powers, and only one, the most important of them all, suddenly decides to stand with Donald Trump, you're going to see a Trump presidency for another 4 years. And how is that going to happen? There will be something. Trump doesn't want to call it martial law. And now General Ellis is out saying, no, we don't want Insurrection Act. I don't see any problem in Trump using the Insurrection Act or triggering the Insurrection Act. There's nothing wrong with that. It's well within his powers to do that. But even if you don't call it Insurrection Act or you don't call it martial law, the truth of the matter is that if the military is with Trump and they have overwhelming evidence of election fraud, which is against the U.S. Constitution to let somebody who win or who has won an election by fraud to become president, what you're going to see happen in the next few days or weeks is a re-election organized in the battleground states, in those key battleground states where the Dominion machine was used to steal the election from the American people, not just from Donald Trump. If you disenfranchise more than 70 million Americans, you cannot go to bed sleeping with your two eyes closed. It's not possible. You have to address that. And so what you might see happen is there's going to be a new election conducted. They will cancel election in those states and conduct a fresh election in those states, and it will be supervised by the military, and it will be paper ballot only. There's not going to be any electronic machine used for the elections. It's going to be 100% paper ballot election. And if after that paper ballot election, supervised by the military, has now produced a winner in Joe Biden, I think it's going to be super weird that people will follow Trump if he wants to stay on in power after that. And I bet you, I'm telling you, I am not Donald Trump's blood relative, but I'm telling you what I know, Trump will never contest the outcome of that kind of election. Never. The reason we are contesting this is because of all the intelligence information that he has, that there has been serious cheating, and because of the affidavits, because of eyewitness accounts, because of all kinds of evidence pouring out from everywhere. How can you just sit by and allow all of that go? No. I say to you again, America is not a banana republic. It's a constitutional republic. Everything must boil down to the Constitution. So that is what is going to happen in America. The military will conduct fresh elections in those key battleground states where they deployed Dominion machines to destroy the election integrity of the United States of America. So they can, by any means, see if they can restore that integrity. So there you have it. But I'm going to read you even further from CNN. And here they caption this one, escalation. It says, tensions between the Biden transition and President Donald Trump's political appointees. Political appointees. That's CNN. Political appointees at the Pentagon have been simmering for weeks, but this latest exchange marked a significant escalation as unnamed Pentagon officials essentially accused Biden of lying when he was discussing the cyber breach with reporters on Tuesday, and said that the Defense Department won't even brief us on many things. So the Pentagon source is telling these people that the Pentagon won't even brief them on many things, openly telling them, according to CNN. So in other words, the escalation has really gone high, way up there. Now, going further down, it says the Pentagon has directed Biden's transition team to receive briefings on the cyber attack from an interagency group known as the Cyber Unified Coordination Group, UCG. That group, however, is not a Department of Defense entity. The information Biden's team is seeking, unsuccessfully so with 28 days before taking office, is a deeper understanding of the Defense Department's view of the cyber attack. And so rather than now divulge all manner of Defense Department information or detail to the Biden transition team, they are directing them to an independent private agency to go and get information. That right there is a huge escalation if you don't know that. No, we can't give you information, but you can go get it from the other people. They will give to you. So the Defense Department is standing their ground that we are not providing any more briefings to you guys. First of all, they said it was agreed upon, and the Biden people say, no, it was not agreed upon. Now, second of all, they say, can we now have the information about the hacking that took place in different U.S. government agents? They say, no, we can't give it to you. Go meet their private group, their independent group there that is not even associated with the Defense Department. They're going to give you the information. Whatever they give you, you can work with that one for now. That is a sign that the Defense Department is not even recognizing the Biden transition team to an extent that they feel maybe some of the vulnerabilities that America may have suffered may even have come from the Biden team, or maybe coming from them if they divulge so much information to them. So they are right by withholding a lot from these people. People who openly hate America. who don't want to have anything to do with the Constitution of the United States of America. Openly, it's no longer hidden now. You want to begin to divulge critical information to them? That's a sign of huge things about to go down. And so here's CNN again. It says a Pentagon spokesman released a statement from an unnamed senior defense official who said Biden's remark about the Defense Department not offering briefings is patently false. So CNN is saying the DOD already has what Biden is looking for, but they are refusing to give it to them. Need I remind you that Kamala Harris is yet to resign from her Senate seat. These are people who are supposed to be sworn in on January 20, just a few weeks from now. Why are they scared? You know, something happened recently. As I was surfing the net, I stumbled on a screaming headline. Alert! Donald Trump to be forcefully removed by the deep state. Forcefully removed, you mean fumigated out of the White House like Nancy Pelosi had, implied or alluded to some months ago. That was the first thing that came to mind when I saw that screaming headline. And you know why many of you may not agree with Alex Jones? Alex has been right on many, many occasions. And Alex was alleging that the deep state is looking for how to take out Donald J. Trump. Now, if going to remove him forcefully does not work for them, which they need the Defense Department to be able to actually carry out effectively, and if the Defense Department, from everything I've explained to you, is now with Donald J. Trump and the US Constitution, it means they're going to have an uphill task in trying to remove Donald Trump or in trying to fumigate him, according to Nancy Pelosi, from the White House. So that may never ever be successful. So what Alex was alleging was that they are trying to look for people who can get closer to Trump and poison him or kill him or do something to just get rid of him. Now, while we may not be able to verify his sources of getting that information, honestly, from everything we've seen so far, I don't think that is beyond these people. Do you think so? Do you think it's beyond them? I don't think so. So I strongly believe that Trump is living in a red zone right this moment. There's no two ways about that. Anything can happen at any time. But I believe also that God, who has kept him alive up till now, because honestly, if you don't see that it's such a huge miracle for Trump to be alive up till now, then I don't know what you're looking at. It's a miracle that he's still alive till today. But the point is that they are planning to take him out. Why did they panic so much that they just want him to get out immediately before January 6th? For the first time ever since this whole saga began, Donald Trump tweeted recently and invited every American to a big, massive monster rally in DC on January 6th, the same day that the Electoral College votes are supposed to be certified for the next president of the United States of America. Trump called for the protests by himself. Don't you see why the globalists will panic? Because what they are already reading into that is that for Trump to call for the protest by himself, it simply means that the real revolution that the globalists have been so scared of might actually be launched officially on that day. It means that Trump might use that day to launch the revolution that will see him arresting all the people who perpetrated this massive historic election fraud on US soil. And another thing again that could happen on January 6th is that the protest could start and never end until Americans demand and get an answer to their demand that a fresh election be conducted in all the key battleground states, which the military will do. And if the American people demand it by themselves, the military will listen to the American people and suggest that to President Trump, and President Trump will approve it, and the election results in those states will be nullified, and then you're going to see a fresh election conducted in those battleground states, which like I told you, is going to be 100% paper ballots, no Dominion machine. and then we will know how popular Biden is in those states. Isn't that something worth doing? Knowing that millions feel disenfranchised, why would anybody want to rush past all these accusations just to go and give Biden a presidency? No, we will all accept a Biden presidency. The world is not going to stop because Biden is president. Of course, so many things are going to go wrong. But if he is the one who is rightfully chosen by the American people, and it is proven by all these things beyond every doubt, why shouldn't everybody accept that? I don't understand that. But when many people are feeling disenfranchised, you have to listen to them. It's their constitutional right you're trampling on, and they don't want that to happen. So you see, there's so much unfolding that many people are not aware of. America is heading somewhere. And like I always say, everybody needs to pay attention to what is happening in the United States of America. I bet you, pay attention. Please, I beg of you, pay attention to what is happening in America. Our whole world literally depends on the outcome of the US election, which has not yet come. The whole world. Look at the stimulus bill. Look at where they are headed. Look at what the future holds for us with a government that will support that kind of stimulus bill. And I tell you, both Republicans and Democrats, united. They are brothers and sisters, they are the same. Apart from the few constitutionalists amongst them, the rest of them are united in destroying the American experiment. And like I said again, the destruction of the American experiment is the destruction of global liberty and the quest for sane. May God help us. May God save all of us. I know He will, really, but please take this very beautiful advice from me. Don't let anything or anyone take you unawares. Be prepared. And I pray that God will help all of us. I want to use this opportunity to thank all of you who have trusted me all these years, all these months, all these weeks. You have followed me constantly. You have liked my videos. You have subscribed. You take advices from me. You've never met me before, but you just trust everything that I said to you. And thank God I've been upright and upfront with you most of the time. You found me a trustworthy mentor or a source for your information. It's something very humbling, and I really appreciate that. And I thank you so much from the very bottom of my heart. Thank you for standing by me, and even to some of you who have given me money to support what I'm doing. You know, I make videos most of the time. I don't get to ask for things that many people ask of. Oh, please subscribe, please do this, do that. I don't do that. In fact, people who have subscribed to my videos often send me screenshots that after subscribing, that YouTube unsubscribed them. I don't really care too much about this thing, but I really do want people to subscribe because I want people to see the truth that I share. And for those of you who have stayed on, people who have even been unsubscribed and they kept subscribing until they stopped unsubscribing them just because they want to listen to Joseph Okechukwu. You don't know how much I really love and appreciate you with all my heart. And I want to say thank you. And I want to make you understand that I'm going to be here for you for as long as God gives me life. And I will be a good brother, a good mentor, a good father, a good friend to so many of you. Let's do this together, okay? We are one family and we have to do this together. God is going to see us through in this year that has been so messed up, and even in the coming year, which I don't have any much optimism for. Through it all, God is going to see us through. Mark my words, He will. I love you with all my heart, and I say again, compliments of the season. God bless.